So the president has congestive heart failure and chronic kidney disease, and he's getting sicker. Next domino to fall will be if his kidneys actually fail and require hemodialysis. There are four main options for placement for a dialysis port. If a port is ever placed in one of his arms, he will not be able to play golf because he'll have to wear short sleeve shirts and you will be able to see the fistula. Now, he could stop playing golf because he's just too sick to do so and doesn't have the energy to do it anymore. By the way, I don't think we've ever seen footage of Donald Trump walking.
God is using Donald Trump, but not in the way most people think. God is using Trump to expose all of the wickedness that used to lurk right beneath the surface in this nation, and he's bringing it to light. There's nothing new about what's happening under Trump. Gerrymandering isn't new, but doing it out in the open is. Corruption and bribery are not new, but doing it in front of the entire world and openly inviting foreign nations to participate, that is new. Racism, not new, but the boldness that we're seeing attached to it, we haven't seen in decades. And the list goes on. Massive inequality, labor exploitation, greed in the healthcare system, sexual perversion, the Epstein files coming to the light. So God is using Trump to bring this stuff that was already there long before he came onto the scene to the surface so we can look at ourselves, the United States of America, squarely in the eye. And that is the test. This is God's judgment. Do we like what we see? Because a whole lot of people clearly do, but at the same time, a whole lot of people are waking up to it. So the question is, will we see ourselves in the mirror and choose to change, choose to be better, to be more just and more equitable towards all of our citizens, particularly the most vulnerable, and to the suffering world around us? Or will we choose to be okay with the greed and the racism and the corruption so long as it benefits us? And at the end of the day, all of it, it's God's mercy, because he's giving us a chance to repent and to turn back to him and back to loving our neighbors, seeing people as made in the image of God before it's too late. And that is how God is using Donald Trump.
Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back again to another episode, and thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. So what do you guys think about this other clip that said that God is the one that is using Trump? You guys saw when that man said it. He said that God is the one that is making use of him, and God is that God is using him, and that he is using him to expose all the corruptions. Guys, like this whole thing is confusing me because some people say that Trump will be going to so date, why some people say that he is already gone, why some people say, in fact, like, I'm just so confused. So what do you guys think? I'm going to be under the comment section, guys. Please don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel in case you haven't not already. So guys, you stay tuned and I hope to see you guys in my next episode. Bye.
After seeing some news this morning, I have a question for Republican voters. Has your net worth increased 139% in the past year? And I mean by any means necessary. Maybe you won the lottery, inherited a bunch of money, got a new job or a huge raise. Maybe you found a giant bag of cash in the park and the police told you you could keep it. Maybe you started selling organs, picked up a fourth job, found a bag of ivermectin and sold it at a MAGA rally, won a reality TV show, Squid Game or Survivor. Maybe you touched a truck longer than a bunch of other sad people in a car dealership parking lot. Or maybe you made 690 separate investments in Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, Meta, T-Mobile, Qualcomm, or the New York Bridge and Tunnel Authority, obviously, because that's what Trump did just since January 20th, pouring over $100 million in investments into the exact institutions he's charged with regulating, including a bunch of mega banks that would benefit if he, forced the Fed to cut rates so they could increase lending and increase margins, even if that rate cut accelerated inflation and forced higher prices on the rest of us. All in, while prices on everything have continued to increase, while economic activity has slowed, and while job growth has fallen off a cliff, Donald Trump has increased his net worth from $2.3 billion just last year to $5.1 billion earlier this year, and now $6.1 billion, all thanks to the self-serving flywheel of investments followed by favorable regulatory decisions that Donald Trump has put in place for himself, thanks to the power given to him by Republican voters.
What is it that gives old white conservative men the delusional confidence to think they can say whatever they want in public spaces with no fucking consequences? Because I walked in the sauna today after my lift trying to get my sweat on and read a couple chapters of Well of Ascension here, and there's a couple old white dudes sitting in there chatting. I could give a fuck, I got my AirPods on, but halfway through I get the dreaded and the motherfuckers died on me just in time to hear one dickhead ask the other, you want to hear a joke? The guy goes, sure, so Mr. fucking Comedy goes, what do sharks and humans have in common? His buddy goes, what's that? And this fucking dickhead goes, the great ones are white. His slack-jawed fucking half-wit buddy just erupts into laughter, and he has the gall to look over at me, expecting me to be laughing too. And upon seeing my decidedly not laughing face, he backtracks like the coward that all of these motherfuckers secretly are. Oh, I don't really think that. I didn't mean it. It was just a joke. And I tell you what, he looked like he swallowed an orange whole when I asked him, would you have made that joke if there was a person of color in here? And he tries that same backtracking cowardice bullshit, and I said, would you have made the joke? And he goes, well, no. And I said, then don't fucking make it at all. You could have heard a pin drop in the sauna for the next 15 minutes until I got up and left, and on the way out I stopped by the front desk to let them know about that not so funny fucking joke that motherfucker just had to make. And I do not give a single solitary fuck if you call me a snitch, because in today's world, if the only good thing that happens is that racist prick gets his membership canceled because he couldn't keep his racist bullshit to himself, then the day is just a little fucking better.
Somebody had the nerve to ask me, what type of black person would ever support Donald Trump? I tell you what type of black person would ever support Donald Trump. The type of black person who will lay hands on you and pray for you. The type of black person who wants best, not just for the individual, but the entire nation. The type of black person who doesn't look at identity politics and have to see somebody with the exact same level of melanation as they have in order for them to be behind their initiative. The type of black person who has morals and values and integrity and stands for something. That's the type of black person that supports an individual such as Donald Trump. You know, the black folk who actually care for, God forbid, values and morals and actually have a high integrity and a level of standards that are maybe, I don't know, a little higher than twerking on stage. Maybe that type of black person, maybe the type of black person who actually wants to uplift the community as opposed to suppress them and tell them that they are victims, that they are oppressed, and that they can do nothing for self. Maybe that type of black person.
Family, let's be real. Black and brown people in this country are fed the fuck up. Every day under this Trump administration, we're watching the law get violated in broad daylight, while we're just trying to live, raise our kids, or build something for ourselves. We did not ask for this fight, but this regime keeps putting a target on our backs. And it's not just Trump. He stacked the Supreme Court with a bunch of loyalists, the military is following his orders, and people like Pete Hegseth are just giving commands that aren't even lawful. That's not democracy. That's tyranny. And the whole world sees it because folks are scared. They're packing up. They're leaving America in numbers that we've just never seen before. And if you look at what's happening in our neighborhoods, troops are patrolling the streets like it's a war zone. And when the only thing that we're guilty of is existing while black and brown. So let's be clear. Trump's greed and his obsession with attacking us isn't just dangerous for us. It's dangerous for the whole country. So because if you keep pushing people into a corner, eventually they're going to push back. And when people lose faith in the justice system, when we believe that the courts won't protect us, every state in America, we're slipping into chaos. And that's not a warning, that's a fucking guarantee. Trump can control the soldiers, but he cannot control the spirit of the people. And if the people rise, no army in the world is going to be able to stop them. So this administration needs to understand, you cannot keep sowing division, fear, and hate without consequence. What starts as an attack on black and brown people will end up tearing at the very foundation of this country. And if America falls into an abyss, it won't just swallow us, it's going to swallow everybody. So I'm telling you, stay aware, stay strong, and stay united, because history shows us one thing: every empire that forgets its people eventually collapses.
President Trump just fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is really concerning. The BLS produces the monthly jobs report, the monthly inflation report, productivity numbers, you get the idea. And President Trump fired this woman who heads the agency because he didn't like the numbers, the data on the jobs that came out on August 1st that showed a much weaker job growth in the past several months, and in particular for May and June, the numbers were revised down a lot. And he argues that this is a sign that the numbers are fake or inaccurate. Look, that's not true. There's two things going on here. Number one is revisions are healthy. The initial numbers that come out are based on a limited amount of data. You know, some of them are surveys or which businesses are able to respond by the deadline. And look, people miss deadlines, and that's why there's a lot more data that comes in the weeks that follow, and that's why the numbers get updated. It's a healthy practice. It's a good statistical practice. The second thing that's going on is money. It always comes back to the money. And the reality is the funding for the BLS and other statistical agencies has been squeezed over time. And they have been trying to warn about this, not just in the past few months, but really in the past year or two, to say, look, this is a big country. We have to collect data and we want to do it in better and better ways, but you need money and funding for that. And on top of that, of course, the DOGE work, trying to reduce the federal workforce, these statistical agencies have lost some top people who've either retired early or who've chosen to leave. The big concern here going forward is who is President Trump going to put to head this agency that's supposed to be about as, boring, nonpartisan, egghead type as can be. And if we get someone who's really political, that's the concern. Can we trust numbers going forward?
I think you understand what the last 24 hours have looked like. He fired a federal governor, Lisa Cook, which that's not how that works. But 100% of things now go by my big, beautiful orange rules. He hung this banner up over the Department of Labor. I don't know if you think this looks familiar. Maybe this will jog your memory. Yep, that's where we are. They do love giant faces of me on buildings. Not only did we get Kilmar out of El Salvador, but now they're sending him to Uganda. Uganda. Another country he's never been from. Quick question, because they're building a camp 4 hours from my home to detain people. If we're detaining them, I thought we were just sending them home. And if it's home, why is he going to Africa? There's so many questions. Even though it's America first, we made it illegal to burn the Israeli flag first, and then the American one immediately following that. By the way, that was just an executive order. I don't know how that just becomes a law, and we skipped that entire process. Another super American move, he's using his power to punish political opponents. And he mentioned suing California because he didn't like the response that Gavin Newsom was taking. To the both sides people, I will not be engaging in kindness with you if you try to talk to me with that angle. Just know you've been warned that I will move with vitriol.
These handmaid tale Republicans are really getting creative now. Attorney generals in states like Alabama want to use human trafficking laws and probation tactics that are reserved for the most violent criminals to track pregnant women. They are claiming that the fetus inside your body doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the state. So they have the right to track you anywhere you go with that fetus. And if you leave the state to receive health care, they can charge you with human trafficking. And before everybody says, oh, how will they do this? Well, they're going to do it using probation tactics. So when they put an ankle bracelet on somebody they have to keep track of, they can do it that way. They can put a red flag if you want to fly. Does everybody understand how easy it would be for them to do this if they want to? They can easily track us around the United States, and they're going to do it if we let them. This is why it's more important than ever to make sure we vote Democrat on all the down ballot races. We have attorney generals running all...
Guys, welcome back again to the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. Guys, do you know how many people has literally been fired under the Trump administration? Yeah, a lot of people have been fired. People who never thought or who never expect that they are going to be jobless in 2025. A lot of them are jobless right now. And the most part of it is that some of these people are not even trying, looking for a way to get jobs. So, guys, the Trump administration has really make a lot of people to be jobless in 2025, and this is no longer funny. Yeah, it's no longer funny, guys. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and you watching the remaining clip of this video. Let me know what are your thoughts. Let me know what you think about them in the comment section, and I'll be coming back your face to talk more about it.